Doing an oil change on a 2007 Saturn Vue, and it's been about 10,000 miles since this vehicle had its last oil change. The current mileage is 155,548 miles. This is my daughter's car, and she's gonna be out of town for the next couple weeks, so I'm gonna go ahead and do all the maintenance for it. Right now I'm going to do an oil change, and then later on I'm going to do a brake system flush, tune up with new spark plugs, coolant system flush, headlight, a bunch of other stuff, serpentine belt. I want to get this vehicle ready for winter driving for my daughter. So let me get it up on the ramps and knock out this oil change. Right, whenever I'm doing an oil change, I like to start with the drain plug, get the oil drained out. I don't usually wait this long in between oil changes for my daughter's car, but on my car I have an oil life monitor that sometimes, because I do a lot of highway driving, will actually go 10,000 miles before it'll say it's due for an oil change. But typically I like to do it right around 5,000 miles. So this one's definitely overdue. Let's get the oil draining. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's definitely dark. Alright, takes a 15mm socket, and when you tighten these up, you don't want to go too crazy tight. Just make it nice and snug. Okay, for the oil filter, it takes 1 1/4 inch specialty low profile socket. Take the top off of the oil filter housing. Then you want to remove it before you take it off all the way, otherwise the socket will kind of get stuck in between the top of the oil filter lid and the intake manifold. I think the filter takes the biggest problem with going 10,000 miles in between oil changes. Is the paper gets really hard and starts getting deformed. So I definitely don't like going this long. This takes I'm using a STP S9018R oil filter. I always like using STP on all my vehicles. So I use a high quality oil filter and high quality oil. And then I'm going to replace the gasket around the top of the oil filter housing. I usually include one of these with every oil filter you buy. Honestly, I don't change these every time, but I probably change them at least every other time. This one's actually not in bad shape. that one's not deformed or getting hard, but I'll change it anyway. Put a little oil around it. New oil filter. Wipe up any excess oil. That way it's easier to tell when I start it up if it has any oil leaks. So I'm going to go through and completely do all the maintenance items on this 2007 Saturn Vue. Get it up to par. Brake fluid flush. I didn't even put a new battery in it for my daughter. So it takes a 5W30 as far as engine oil weight, and I use STP high mileage 5W30 on all my Ecotec 2.2 liter engines. Put the lid back on. All right, I'm going to check for leaks and reset the oil life monitor. So on the Saturn Vue, it has a oil life monitor. There's a little wrench over here that says it's kind of like a maintenance required. Let me turn on. Maintenance with a little oil can light, and that's how you know that you need an oil change. On the Chevy Cobalt, it has a percentage based. Put the key in the ignition, turn it to the on position, press down the gas pedal 3 times quickly within 10 seconds. Turn off the key.